Hey everyone, Dr. Erik here from MedBetterHealth, where we talk everything dementia and help caregivers like you get access to information and to in-home care through this incredible new program called the Guide Model. And if you're interested in learning more about the program, I have a link right over here as well as a QR code, which I highly recommend you go to and enroll into the program. But today's session is actually incredible. I want to ask you a question. Does it ever happen where grandma, you go into the room and grandma tells you, Samantha, you stole my purse? Or the home health aide stole my money. Where's my pillowcase? We're going to go into why people living with dementia have these types of feelings and what you can do about it. Are you ready? Let's go. Well, they aren't lying. The mechanics of false truths in dementia. Now, we're going to go through this video and we're going to talk about things like this. Dementia can unexpectedly turn the caregiver into the villain. The caregiver, you, who dedicated your life, who's taking care of the person living with dementia, all of a sudden you become the villain. And you're saying, man, how can that be? I don't understand. Well, does this sound familiar? You stole my money. You never feed me. And imagine if they're saying this in front of neighbors that came over. Wow, you're like, oh my God, Mom, that's not true, right? Or he's taking all my money, and she's pointing to your brother, and the neighbors and the other family members are there for Thanksgiving. Man, that could be a very uncomfortable situation. But what you have to know is that the pain of these statements is real. But the first clinical question should not be, why are they lying? The better question is, what is their brain trying to explain to me? All right, so as we go through that, I want you to see the difference between a lie and between the dementia reality. So what's a lie? A person who's lying, they know the truth, and we understand that. However, they have intentional filter not to tell you the truth. It's like my son Ephraim. Ephraim, did you take the candy from the candy jar? No, Dad, I didn't. But we know Effie took the candy from the candy jar, and he knows he took it, right? And therefore, it's a false statement. Now, in the dementia reality, they actually have a missing memory. The memory is missing. And because of that, they have a fear. So what do? Well, the brain attempts to fill the gap. There's a gap right over here. There's no information. So the brain tries to create and fill the gap. Oh, why are you scared? Why do you feel anxiety? Oh, because probably someone stole that item from you. So this goes into the gap, and then they start having a sincere false belief that this is actually a reality. Now, I want you to see over here, and we talked about this. Lying requires knowing the truth and deliberately choosing to hide it. Whereas in the dementia reality, they have this impaired memory, they have this anxiety, they have a loss of their executive control, which forces the brain to connect fragments, as I mentioned, into a story that makes it feel complete for the patient. Now, what actually happens? Think about this. Mom could actually had a dream that you came into her room and you stole her purse. That could have been a dream. But the brain, the dementia brain, is unable to actually take that as a dream, and it actually processes it as a reality. So it goes inside here. And then maybe there was a memory from decades ago about somebody, and that memory was 20 years ago. But Mom thinks about it today as a source of reality today. Goes into the bucket here. Or they may have a current physical fear. Again, goes into here. And then all these fragmented informations come into this circle, and then it creates an absolute present reality, which is their reality, not yours. So, if you take a look over here, the missing item is real for them. The fear is real, but the conclusion is wrong. So, you stole my purse. Well, the purse may be misplaced. They may have an inability to remember that they moved it somewhere, which increases their anxiety, and they feel a loss of control. So what's the actionable takeaway for you? And by the way, if you want to learn these techniques, you should visit the link over here and sign up for the guide model. It's an incredible program. It's a Medicare program. It doesn't cost anything. It doesn't change your doctor. It doesn't change your pharmacy. Everything stays the same, and you get additional resources, which I want you to learn about by clicking on this link and then signing up, because it will change your life, believe me. So, actionable takeaway. Do not lead with, Mom, nobody stole your purse. Instead, what you have to lead with is, that sounds upsetting, Mom. Let's look for the purse together. And then the person may not be able to process a factual correction, but they can definitely have reassurance and redirection. So Mom may not be able to process, I didn't steal your purse, but she will definitely be able to process, Mom, I know how you feel. I know that the purse may be missing and you feel a little anxious about it. Why don't you and I go and start looking for it together? So, the other thing I want you to know, and this is so important, sudden severe psychotic symptoms signal a medical emergency. If there's a sudden change in Mom's mental status, if all of a sudden she's acting very, very paranoid, and she never did that before, and it's like this, like a light switch, you got to be careful. You can't just assume it's a dementia. You got to rule out infection, dehydration, poor sleep, medication. Maybe some of these things are the responsible parties for causing Mom to instantly have this false belief. Okay, so the rule of thumb is as follows. If the false story or paranoia appears suddenly or worsens dramatically in a few days, call your clinician, call the ER. And if you were in the guide model program, you would have a 24/7 helpline. Imagine this, something like this happens, and you're enrolled into the guide model because you went over here and you clicked on the link, right, and you learned about it, and you also saw testimonials from other caregivers just like you whose life was literally changed by this program. You would be able to, at 10 o'clock at night, to pick up the phone and call a helpline and ask them and say, hey, I don't know what's going on. And they would be able to help you. Our team would be able to help you. So, in conclusion, look, we have an incredible, incredible program. You should definitely check it out. And if you're interested, you should go to this link over here. There's a QR code. I also want to give you another incredible resource called the Dementia Times. You'll see it on your screen. It has over 45 articles with videos explaining each and every one of these situations. Now, the cool part about the guide model is where in the regular world, you just watch the videos. In the guide model world, if you enroll and your loved one enrolls, you actually have access to a care navigator who's your concierge care navigator, and they go through these facts with you together on a one-on-one basis. I hope you found this video useful. I want you to like it if you liked it, right? Share it if you feel it's worth sharing, and definitely comment below if you want to share an experience that you've had that you feel others would learn from. I'll see you in the next video.